Hi.
Hey, Krisha.
Hi, Frank.
Happy birthday, Eve.
It's my birthday, Eve.
I'm so excited.
You are.
Not really. But it is March.
Yep. Pinch punch, first of the month, no returns.
Does that mean we're coming in like a lion?
Yeah.
We're going. My mother used to talk about that.
March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb.
Or vice versa.
Comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb.
Because it comes in like a lamb, goes out like a lion, or whatever.
Rawr.
I think that's what happens. I think the way I understood it from my mom is whatever you have on March 1st, you'll have the opposite on March 31st.
Yeah. So, good day.
How about that?
Which means a bad day on March 31st?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's a lot of weird sayings.
It is March again.
We can get to that.
It's all, here we are. Happy March. Last year in March, it was we didn't know. March 1st, we kind of suspected, but it was not until 2 weeks later when we COVIDized.
Yeah, my birthday week last week was a bad week.
And it wasn't really until 10 days later, on Friday the 13th of last year, that they started closing everything.
Right.
Here in our world, anyway. Obviously,
we kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah. Didn't think it was. I don't know. The badness surprised us.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's good now.
We're moving forward. But I'm happy that we have this show. I'm happy that we get to do fun stuff. And I'm happy that you find our website, krishaandfrank.com, where you can purchase merchandise.
The merch.
We keep showing the coffee mugs because that's what we bought. But you could get just about anything. In fact, we could probably... next day we have an office day. Maybe throw some new stuff on just for fun.
I need to start playing around with it more. And
just have some fun with it. Yeah, because it's exciting. You know that we got... some new traffic coming in from WATE.com and from SeymourSmokies.com. It's nice.
And you can find us there, and you can find all the links to that, KrishaandFrank.com.
Yeah. And you can send us a message for Talk About Content Out of the Basket Tuesday. Call 865-236-0399 or email us.
Or you can text that number as well.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah. Nobody likes talking.
No, I won't answer.
No, just text it. Text something funny to that number or email it to krishaandfrank@gmail.com.
Hey, can you drive a stick shift?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Well, I can tell you how, because I had to learn. It was awkward, but I learned.
How'd you learn?
Well, my dad tried to teach me, but learning to drive from your parents is challenging depending on how your parents are.
Yeah.
I turned out to be a good driving teacher, and I ended up teaching both my kids, and everything's fine. But it was automatics. My dad had borrowed or had a company car, a rental car for one weekend that was stick, and he thought he could try to teach it to me in that short amount of time, and it was, I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
But then a few months before he died, I got a job at this easy listening radio station.
Yes.
And I was to drive this Jeep around the Beltway in Washington D.C. And give people jump starts. It was sponsored by AAA.
Oh, cool.
So I could change a tire, give you a jump start, or drive you to a gas station.
So you were like the emergency road people before the emergency road people existed.
Yeah, I would just drive around in the WEZR Public Service Vehicle.
That's so cool.
Sponsored by AAA, and I would take you to a AAA-approved gas station if nothing else would work out. Because, of course, you'd take a ride from a stranger. Why not?
Right.
It's 1982.
Absolutely.
So I'm doing this. I got the job through my college radio station. I show up for the first day at 5 in the morning, and the guy from AAA, we're meeting in the AAA parking lot. And he's like, you can drive a stick, right? I'm like, nope. I was like, all right, well, get behind the wheel because you're going to learn.
Whoa.
And that first day on the job, this gentleman who worked at AAA, he taught me to drive stick on this $30,000. And that's a long time ago, but it was a $30,000 Jeep because it was loaded with, had a hard top, it had heat.
That's awesome.
Winter. And I learned to drive it well enough that I was able to take my dad in it to a Redskins game.
Nice.
And they're like, park it visible. Make sure everyone can see it when they're going in. And in fact, that's when the day he had his stroke, his cerebral hemorrhage, I was showing up for work at the radio station. They said, you have to go.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You can't go to work today. You have to go to the hospital.
Can't go.
Yeah, it's good memories, bad memories. And then in the years subsequent, I purchased at least 2 stick shift cars for myself.
Well, my car is a stick shift car.
Which surprised me because I didn't think they had... It's like an American car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 2003. Yeah.
I didn't think there were that many American cars that were stick.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah, I guess you know what? I bought a Ford, a stick shift Ford back in the long 80s.
Yeah. And I have a friend who is in his 30s and recently had an incident with his car. It ended up totaling his car. He didn't wreck it. Somebody wrecked into his parked car.
Yuck.
But it totaled his car, and all of the cars he's been looking at are stick shifts.
Is he looking at like a sports car type, a fancy European or German or
VW?
Japanese?
He's looking at VW.
I also bought a stick shift VW at one point in my life.
So he's looking at all these cars, and he sends me a message, and he's like, hey, your car's a stick shift, right? I was like, yeah. He goes, can you teach me? And I'm like, yeah, because I've been teaching my kids to drive.
Yeah, and it's a good life skill.
It's a great life skill because you never know. And
I mean, if you're running away from somebody and the car that you jump into outside the airport is a stick shift, you know, like in an action movie, you know what I'm talking about.
It's come in handy with me numerous times to be able to drive stick. My dad taught me to drive stick in his truck, and he only gave me a few lessons.
Is it different in a truck than versus a car?
This was like a little Ford Ranger, so
all right.
Yeah. But it was necessity because when my mom, I lived with my mom, she had a stick shift, and I didn't get a license until I was 18, but I started driving when I was 14. And so I would just...
And we heard a few stories.
Yeah. I would just drive...
on previous episodes.
I would just drive her car all over, and it was a stick shift. And so I've been teaching Hannah to drive stick, and she's so brilliant. She's 16, and kids just figure, like...
Yeah. If you learn it from the beginning, it's a piece of cake. It's after you've learned to drive in a regular car that you have to retrain your brain to do things that you can't imagine the car needs to be told.
But it came in handy when I worked at Sweet Fanny Adams Theatre. They had a Volkswagen Thing. That burned in the fire. But
the Thing. I forgot about the Thing.
The Volkswagen Thing, and it was like a military, but they had...
It looked like a Humvee before there were Humvees.
Yeah, but it was like a little,
a Jeep with the top cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, a little short car, but it was a 3-speed. And that car had it was the seat was fiberglassed into the... So you couldn't move it. But I would drive that all around Gatlinburg, this 3-speed.
Because it had the logo on the sides. Yeah. It was advertising.
And so it's come in really handy. And so when he asked, will you teach me? He was like, how long do you think it'll take? I'm like, an hour. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're either a really good teacher or I think it's harder than it is.
I guess I learned in an hour if you really get right down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll take an hour to teach you how to drive a stick because once... your brain, if you've been driving, your brain automatically knows the feel of shifting. For him, it was going from stop, which is for most people going from stop to go.
Getting into first gear is the challenge because that's when people grind their gears and the car stalls out.
Yes, yeah. And so I made him ride with me to where we were practicing, which was up above Fulton High School, where the old
Did you
hospital.
Put him on a hill?
Where the old hospital used to be, up at the top of that hill, there's all these empty hospital parking lots.
Nice.
So I was like, and they're flat as a pancake, and I'm like, bingo, bango.
But you have to learn on a hill, too.
Well, first we started in the parking lot, and I made him ride with me, and I was just kind of showing him. And the first thing I did was show him what happens when you kill it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're going to panic.
Yeah.
And at some point, if you're driving a stick, you're going to go to turn across traffic, and you're going to kill it. You're already exactly where you need to be. Just put your foot back in on the clutch and start it. You don't have to do anything because you should be in the right gear and everything.
Yeah.
And so then he gets in and this is like the evening and we're driving in circles in this parking lot. And he's driving 5 feet and he goes, this is thrilling. Driving 5 feet, stopping.
He's being sarcastic.
Yeah. Driving 5 feet, stopping, putting it in first, going, driving 5 feet, stopping, putting it in first.
But this is what you made him do. You made him stop frequently because that's the hardest piece to learn.
Once you get the feel of that.
So repeating that step, that's smart.
So we're literally just taking my little junky car in circles. And then I'm like, well, we're going to have to get on the road. I was like, you've got it now.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get on the road. So we're in the neighborhood, stop signs and stuff. And I'm like, it's no big deal. You'll be fine. And so we go, the first stop sign he came to, we had the right of way. We didn't have a stop sign. The other people did. And this guy runs the stop sign. So he has to slam on the brakes. And he's trying to figure out what to do. And meanwhile, my car is not.
Are you screaming or no?
No, I was like, it's cool. You're good. I'm like, you're fine. Put it in second. I'm calmly I'm like, you're fine. And he was like, well, I made it through that. But as this is happening, my car is not in.
No,
it's not.
I've never actually ridden in this car because you've said you don't want to ride this car.
You have to yell. It's loud. You have to yell.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he goes, "That's not a good smell." I was like, "No, it's you burning my clutch."
You're burning my clutch.
You're burning my clutch. So then I made him get on a hill, and I was like, you got to stop on a hill, and then you got to go because you're going to naturally roll back.
I feel like I've driven a stick on a really hilly area at some point in my life.
If you've driven a stick in Knoxville, you have.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't think I have, but wherever I was, I know in a steep hill I've driven a stick.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it's terrifying.
Yes.
Because this day and age, this day and age, God, I'm old. This day and age, people get right up on your bumper and don't give you any room. And my whole thing is, if I roll back and hit you, it's not my fault.
That's a feature of the car. It's how the stick shift cars work. So you should assume when you're like there's a stoplight at the top of a hill and you're right up on somebody's bumper, you should assume they have a stick and they're going to bump into the front of you.
Yeah, and if I do,
or give them more room to allow that for that. Wow.
Yeah, so he learned how to drive stick. He drove all the way home on Broadway, drove all the way to his house, and I was very proud, and he said that I was a very good teacher.
I bet you are.
Because
that's been the joke, that the best theft protection against car thieves is to get a stick, because
nobody's gonna steal your car.
So few people know how to drive.
Who's gonna steal that one, first of all? But
you know what I mean. If you bought it, like if he buys a fancy new sports car with a stick in it, it's
less likely to get stolen. So that's
yeah. All right. Well, speaking of crime,
yes.
Dun.
Dragnet.
Speaking of our friends at bonezones.com, don't forget
the S.
They are, well, first of all, Dr. Bass, the world's leading forensic anthropologist. And they've got the mugs with this little skeleton on there.
I love this. It makes me so happy.
You buy these at bonezones.com and then you drink out of them. You can also get T-shirts, including, while they're on sale, while supplies last, a T-shirt featuring Dr. Bass and his good pal Art Bohannon.
Yeah, the fingerprint analyst expert extraordinaire.
Yes, and he's written books about his life that also are for sale. Not only are the Jefferson Bass books on sale at bonezones.com, but you can get Prints of a Man. Plus this Dr. Bass Art Bohannon T-shirt while supplies last for $30.
It's so cute.
It's a combo package. Yeah. And or you can, if you've already read Prints of a Man, you can get Watauga, which is Henry Bohannon's journey.
Yeah. And it's so, I love the T-shirt. It's cute. But you can get the book and the T-shirt for $30.
Yeah, either book plus a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And in addition to all the other fine Bone Zones merchandise, obviously I've got some of this stuff already. I've got the tote bag, I've got the mugs, I've got the hat.
And you gifted me a tote bag too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got my Dr. Bass autograph photo, which I do treasure. It's in the trophy case.
You have your own trophy case.
Remember the other day when I couldn't remember the words trophy case?
Yeah, I do.
It's in my prize closet.
It's in my prize closet, which is so radio station. Can we go to the prize closet?
It's in my awards armoire. It's in my dresser with the things. I couldn't remember the words trophy case for whatever reason.
Bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
Dr. Bass has got some good trophies over the years.
Well, speaking of teaching my friend to drive stick, there was one thing that he said that got me on a brain tangent that I wanted to ask Frank about.
Oh, right. Hey, he's right here.
Hey, thank goodness. So when we were driving, he was like, well, you can always tell when somebody misses it or grinds their gears and he's like, I don't want to look stupid. I'm like, I don't think people are paying that much attention and I don't think people care. He's like, well, I notice.
You mean other drivers?
Other drivers.
I think it depends. I mean, I try to... You've driven with me enough times. I try to just mellow out a bit behind the wheel and not worry.
Yeah.
I've got other people in the family who will yell. They seem to get a little road ragey.
Well, I don't necessarily mean a passenger in the car. I mean, when you're driving down the road, I don't think other people are consciously thinking about you for the most part.
Okay, I guess I'm thinking about another driver I know who always is yelling at that. Do you see what they did? Look what they did.
Oh, I do that. I mean, I yell at the trucks in the left lane on 40 all the time.
So then what do you mean if we don't think about them?
But what I'm saying is, okay, so in my mind, I don't think that when you're sitting at a red light, right? You're sitting at a red light.
Yeah.
That people are consciously thinking about what you're doing in your car. So if you kill it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that people put that much thought into what you're doing.
No, if you stay there too long, we might notice. But if your engine shuts off and then you start it up again,
and you go.
And nowadays, that's what new cars do.
Yeah.
I
weird.
had a Mini Cooper for a weekend for a promotion, and every time you put on the brakes and come to a full stop, the engine cuts off.
And you think you're breaking down. It's like, what's happening?
And then you put gas on it, and it starts up again.
But so here, that was my theory. But then 2 days later, I'm driving down the road, and it was raining. It was raining just enough to need your wipers, right?
Your new wipers?
My new wipers. It was raining just enough to need your wipers. And I immediately become self-conscious that I've got my wipers on too high, and that people are going to think I'm a dummy for having my wipers on too high. Because you know those people that you see in traffic sometimes, and it's barely sprinkling rain. They're like, boom, 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 boom. Right?
I've never noticed anyone's wiper speed.
Right. So I'm telling him the theory, which is my theory, that people aren't paying that much attention. Meanwhile, I'm self-conscious to turn my wipers on too high because I'm afraid somebody will make fun of me for having my wipers on too high. Because
you can't have it both ways.
I cannot. So is the theory that people... you always hear, like, you need to worry more about yourself because people are more worried about themselves than they are you.
True.
It's something you would tell your kids. They're like, I'm self-conscious.
It's the truth that people... everyone... If you think, when you're walking around school or jobs, thinking about, what do they think of me? What do they think of me? What do they think of me?
They're not. They're thinking of you.
They're doing the exact same thing about themselves. If you're walking down the hall worried about what that person thinks of you, they're walking down the hall worried about what you think of them.
Right. And so...
and neither of you would really care about the other person.
And I'm telling this person that I'm teaching to drive, nobody cares. Like, nobody's paying that much attention.
That's right.
And yet... 2 days later, I catch myself going, I don't want to have my wipers on too high because then you look like a goob. You're like,
I don't think you look like...
Okay, but it's barely raining, and you see somebody at a stop sign.
With their wipers going crazy?
You've got your wipers on like this, right? Intermittent, as it were. And the person across the stop sign from you it's the same amount of rain for them, but they're going, aren't you going to be like, aren't you a little aggressive there with your... wipers there, Grandma? Like,
it has never occurred to me. I'm trying to think of any time I've ever noticed someone else's windshield wipers. The only time I can think of is when we worked at K-Rock and we're up on the 9th floor and in California. We didn't know if it was raining or not. And Doc on the Rock would say, no, you just look at the windshield wipers. If
they're on.
If people are running their windshield wipers, that's how you know it's raining down there.
That's funny.
That's the only time I've really thought about it.
You've never noticed when it was like...
You know what I've noticed? I've noticed when you're driving along the interstate and the person in front of you cleans their windshield wipers and you get hit with the mist of it.
Oh, that's so annoying.
That's when I've noticed.
There was a car in front of me the other day that was swerving around the snow that the truck was like...
the flying off the truck?
Yeah, it was just snow flying off the truck and they kept swerving. What the heck?
Because sometimes it's chunks of ice.
It is.
When we were driving up to Greenville for my wife's vaccine, a lot of trucks were coming in from, I guess, Memphis or Nashville or Texas or wherever, laden with snow and ice, and it was flying off these trucks because now they're up in where we are, where it's above freezing.
And sometimes it goes poof. It poops you. That's my favorite noise when it hits your car.
I despise snow, as you're aware.
I am.
And when I see those maps... Somebody did this on Facebook as a meme where they color in the entire country except for Tennessee and they write snow.
Snow.
Although, for that last mess of a storm, Memphis and Nashville got terrible ice and snow. And we're in this little sliver.
We're in this nice little pocket
of
nice.
This little valley. We're down here.
We're fine. It's 43.
We don't want snow. I don't, anyway.
But no, like, I truly do believe that people aren't caring that much. But that doesn't stop me from worrying that I've got my wipers on too high.
Well, I mean, you're a self-conscious person about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not just that.
No, it's the only thing that I'm self-conscious about is how fast my wipers are going.
But you know what I mean. It's par for the course. It's what I'm trying to say.
Jeez.
We are both of us are a little sensitive. Sometimes we worry about.
I am not. Why would you say that?
I can show you some pictures. I can show you some screen grabs. I was trying to find a screen grab for an episode. I'm like, I can't use that one.
No,
I can't use that one. Can't use that
No,
one.
it's hard to find a screen grab because we're always mouthing.
Well, yeah, because we're not. When one of us has the pleasant, smiling, listening face, the other one is doing some kind of crazy emotion.
Yeah, but I told you the other day when we were talking, sometimes when I'm watching the show, I'm like, what is my face doing? Because I'm listening to you, and I'm like... and I look like...
The mom face.
What is this? Like, my bitch brow's coming out. What is that? Like, I am like joyful inside of my heart, and I still like...
Well, we're doing a funny show, I hope. So I hope you're playing it for laughs. It doesn't bother me.
But no, there are times when I'm not playing it for laughs, and I'm watching this show, and I realize I'm not playing it for laughs. This is me attentively listening, and my face. I'm like, what is happening to my neutral face? Of like, I do this a lot.
Oh.
I do have a nice side profile.
I did have a good one where I was telling something, probably about the relative who said, "What's the woman's name?"
Yeah.
And he found it, by the way.
Thanks. He found us on Facebook.
Whatever I'm saying, you've got this look. It's fun. I saved it to show you. Mm-hmm. It's in our shared Google Photos.
Okay.
But I wouldn't do anything with it without you letting you have it first.
I mean, take bad pictures of me. It's fine. I know that I don't look as bad as some pictures of me look.
Well, when both of us, there's one that I was looking at. We are both laughing uproariously about the dentist and the text and the radio show.
Yes.
We're both got back with we're just laughing and we're covering our mouths and we're doing. It's just this whole series of pictures. Yeah, it's
nobody cares.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, nobody cares.
So just pretend those are windshield wipers.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about your windshield wipers.
No, they don't.
Nobody.
But I think it's funny.
It is funny that you worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we worry about, especially you and me, we worry about everything.
No, nobody cares. Like, it's kind of sad, but it's also true. Nobody cares.
Yeah. So thank you for taking the time to watch. In fact, what did I say? I was worried about some episode. I thought, well, I wonder if that was a little too inside. And you corrected me and said, the only people who are listening and watching to the show are the people who want to hear your stupid stories. So none of them are too inside.
No. And you used a term that an old boss would have used.
Yeah.
Which it made sense in that context. But this doesn't. Nobody cares.
That's right.
No.
I guarantee if you didn't care, you stopped listening to this particular episode 5 minutes ago.
You're either here or you're not.
So.
And you know what?
What?
I don't care.
Okay. There you have it. Well, that's the end of this one. Can't go anywhere from there.
If you turned it off 5 minutes ago, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, do we even bother?
Don't even talk about the Google Analytics, the YouTube Analytics.
I was going to do the plugs just in case you come back.
Well, yeah, we should definitely do the plugs.
For audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank, where you can get all sorts of podcasts, including ours at Audible Pod, and you can get a free download during that first free 30-day trial. Keep the download forever, and then decide at the end of 30 days if you want to keep Audible or not, because Krisha loves it. It's awesome. A lot of, it's got all the things.
And if you're a fan of books in general, it's unlimited.
So it's a good deal. Audibletrial.com/Krisha and Frank. And then also, please do consider buying one of our merchandises. Remember, it's Krisha's birthday Eve.
It is.
Just saying.
I'm going to be old.
Gonna be? Okay.
All right.
I can say it. I've already been there.
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
Oh, I care so much.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. Bye. We said goodbye like 10 times.
I know.
I don't care.
Oh, I wish I didn't care. I hit the button.